Welcome back everyone to my series of Axis and Allies. I'm Gideon, and today's episode we will talk about how to play the game. And we will split this up in a few smaller episodes. You can watch them all in a row. And this episode is about the setup of the game. Now we will start with seeing what's inside the box. First of all, there's the manual. We will use it to go over the different aspects. Now, first of all, there's the game board. The game board is the world map from 1942. It is divided in countries and sea zones. Next thing is the battle board. This is the battle board where we fight all the battles, and it comes with the dice. Black dice for one player, white dice for another player, and we have the defender and the attacker. These are the control markers. They indicate different status in the game. For example, conquered territory. If the UK conquers France, Indochina, they'll leave the control marker here, or they can mark other information for the countries. This is the victory city chart, and this is used to keep track of who is owning which victory city. So, for example, if Germany occupies Leningrad, they can put their control marker on it. Now this is two charts in one. Top one here is the national production, and it keeps track of what is the income of the national production of every world power. So, for example, Russia starts at 24. If they conquer another country, they might jump 2 steps ahead. They will get then 26. So this way you keep track of this. The other thing is the weapons development chart, and this is basically an option in the game. You can choose to use it or not to use it. These are the industrial production certificates, and they work as the money in the game. So at the end of your turn, you get the equal amount as your national production, and that is the money you can spend in your next turn. Now these are the reference charts. There is one for every world power. This shows you the starting position of every unit. Here, for example, you see Germany, infantry, 3 units, meaning you put 3 infantry units on Germany in your starting position. Now then there are the combat forces, and that is the units you put on the board to play with. Every world power has its own color. This is orange for Japan. England has a tan color. Germany has a grey or black color. The US has a green color. And Russia has a red, brownish color. Now then there are some units which are grey. And they are grey because they can change ownership during the game. So that is the AA gun and the factory. Now these are the plastic chips, and they are used for an overcrowded country to show how many units are inside. So you can do it 2 ways. For example, here's 3 infantry. You can show it like this, or you do it like this. You take 2 plastic chips, put 1 infantry on it, and now this represents 3 infantry. Now there's also a red chip. This is representing 5 units. So in this case, for example, this would be 6 infantry units. And of course you can combine it. So 5, 6, 7, 8, if the stacks are getting even taller. Now if there is more units in one country that can fit, you can use the marshalling cards, and they work like this. You have a number and a corresponding card. One and one. So you take the units that do not fit in a country, put them on the card next to the game board, and you put the number in the country. And in that way you know that those units are actually standing in this country. Now the last thing are those numbers, and they are supposed to work in this way, that if a plane is moving in its attack phase, you will make a kind of waypoints for it, but this costs so much time and is so useless, so actually never use it. But instead, if I run out of plastic chips, I sometimes replace it with those things. So other than that, no use in the game. Now next thing we do is we set up the game board using the reference charts. Now this works in this way. We start in the left corner and we start following all the rules. Doesn't matter really in which sequence. So I go to Russia and I see infantry 3 times. So I pick 2 plastic chips, put the infantry on it, go to the next one. Okay, that is 1. Next one is the UK. Okay, next one is Germany. Next one is Japan. And the last one is the United States. Now this is the setup of the board game. Now before we continue with the gameplay, I'll give a little bit more information about the game board. So you have different kind of territories. You have a land territory. You can see here example of India. You have a sea territory, that is this dark blue area, and has a number in it, 35. You have island groups. This is an example of the Philippine Islands. It consists of different small islands, but it's actually just one territory, all surrounded by the sea zone 46. And the last zone, and it's not a territory, is this zone, and it is the mobilization zone, and that is where you put new units when you purchase them. Now as you can see, every territory has its color, and they stand for the nation that first controls them. For example, here the red color is controlled by Russia. The gray color is controlled by Germany. The tan color is controlled by the UK. So there's many spaces around the board with this color. There's the green color, which stands for the United States, and there is the orange color, which stands for Japan. Now there's other territories which have a gray color, like this, Himalaya or Afghanistan, and that means they're neutral territories, and you cannot go through them, so this unit cannot go in here, and also planes cannot fly over it. Now another thing is the income value. This is the income value of this country, and it stands for free, and that means at the end of the turn the controller of this territory gets a free IPC. The world map is flat, but the world is round, and in this game you can move from this side of the board to that side of the board just with one move. So this tank from Eastern Canada can just move to this space, and you can see the borders here are aligned, so in that way you know how you can move between territories. Now territories can be in three different states. So one is friendly. For example, this guy from the UK, he's an ally from this Russian guy, so he can move into this friendly territory, even though it's not owned by the UK. The UK and Japan, they are in war with each other, so England can only can move in this territory, but then they have to conduct combat. So this is a hostile territory. The other thing is a neutral territory, and that means neutral. This guy can never move into the Himalayas because it's neutral. Now Z-zones are never neutral, but they're also not hostile or friendly by default. So this ship from the UK can just move in this Z-zone without any problem. But if he moves in this Z-zone, which is occupied by Japanese ships, you have to treat it as a hostile territory. Now this is the chart of the victory cities. It shows you all the different victory cities on the map. And one of them is, for example, Calcutta. You can recognize them on the map with this red square and yellow letters, Calcutta. So the one who owns this territory has control over this victory city. Now another type of victory city is the capital. You can see it here, Moscow. It counts also as a victory city, but this is also the capital of Russia. Now one more thing for this episode. This is about canals. There are two canals in the game. There's this, the Panama Canal, and here the Suez Canal. And they work as follows. Let's say we're playing the US. We have this destroyer. We can just move it from this sea zone to this sea zone because we control this country, so we control the canal. Now let's imagine we're having this submarine here from Germany. For Germany, this is a hostile territory, so they cannot use the canal, so they cannot move from this sea zone to this sea zone. In order to do that, they first have to occupy Panama, and then they can use the canal to move from here to there. Now for the Suez Canal it works similar, but this canal is between Anglo-Egypt and Transjordan. So in order to use the canal, you have to occupy both sides of the canal. So if you have Transjordan and Anglo-Egypt, then you can use this canal. And same thing if this is occupied by the UK, Germany cannot use the canal. Now that was it for this episode about the setup of the game. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please like it and subscribe if you want to see more. And see you in the next episode.